going to go into what you do. You seem to have a fine line that you've been able to draw that really relates to a wonderful clientele with No Kaoi magazine.
Oh, thank you.
And it is something that is read, I think, with equal passion between visitors and locals alike. Did you ever take time to try to figure out who exactly your audience is and who is reading?
That's who we are writing to. Actually, the philosophy behind the magazine is that we write it for a local resident so that it's interesting enough and in-depth enough for a local resident to really get something relevant from it, but also we want to make it interesting enough for a visitor. And that isn't very difficult. So that's our philosophy. That's what we've been doing all these years, and that seems to work because the visitors that we are talking to, we feel mostly are return visitors who want to feel like they are part-time residents, perhaps, want to feel part of the island, be more connected. So
wouldn't that be most visitors? I mean, I think at this point they've done a lot of studies, and they found that people really are coming to Maui. A lot of them are return visitors.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And they come back, and these are people that have already gone before, and a lot of them really want to delve deeper.
Right. Yeah, and that is who we've been talking to all these years from the inception of Maui no Kaoi. It was designed to appeal, as I said, to residents, but to also hit the heart of our return visitors that want to feel part of the island and feel connected and get information and stories that is authentic and not retread, so to speak.
And I think you do a beautiful job because you have some amazing writers.
We do.
Who really understand what it takes to get a story that's really in-depth. And maybe even I find myself sometimes reading it and going, I didn't know that. And that's what I like in a story.
Well, you're our perfect reader because that's the idea, is that we want everyone to come away with, oh, I didn't know that, or to learn something. So our writers are really good. And that's what we take the most pride in, is telling the stories that have meaning and that you can actually have something to take away from.
Another important factor you've really honed in on, which is so important, is not only excellent journalism, but really great pictures. Well, in a magazine that you're going to be leaving on your coffee table. And you're going to be reading, you want to sometimes, between commercials, pick it up and look at pictures, right? I mean, and it's important for both the stories and as well for the advertisers to have great-looking pictures, right?
Yes. Well, that comes from having a great designer. And we actually have a new designer. His name is Paul Morris. He comes from New York. And he's just wonderful. We're really happy to have him. And John Giordani, who was with us for 8 years, has gone back to New York. So it was kind of a fun trade.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So Maui no Kaoi magazine has been around for how many years now?
I think 23.
Wow. I didn't realize it was 23 years.
Yeah, I think so. 1996 is when we came out, I believe.
So I have to ask you this question. I know it's stupid.
No, stupid questions. That's what I tell my kids.
I have to, because what is the secret to your success?
I think pretty much what we've been talking about, staying true to ourselves, staying true to the brand, being authentic in our storytelling, and having wonderful distribution by having in-room distribution with all of the resorts that rely on Maui no Kaoi to tell those stories. So it's just a symbiotic relationship. We all work together, and I think it's our readers and our writers and our partners that make it work.
Well, a lot of people have realized that it's been harder and harder for print. We've seen many great magazines get scary, thin, smaller, even Time Magazine, Vanity Fair, you go, oh my gosh, it's gotten smaller. And we see these shrinking publications, and it scares us. Because
it is a little scary. We've made it through. We're in a great niche. I know there are niche publications that are not affected by that, and fortunately, we are one of them because we're a destination magazine with beautiful photographs and authentic stories about people and places and things to do, and also about our culture. And those are things that are told best on paper. And I think
I agree on that. I really do, but I'm old school, you know. I am. I like looking at a magazine. I like having it, and I like perusing it, and I don't sit down ever and just go through the whole thing. It's not about reading quickly.
No. Well, and we haven't ignored the fact that there is a need for an online presence. So we do have a very engaged online presence. We have a great website. We have...
And that might as well put that website out there for the people watching or listening.
MauiMagazine.net. And we have, Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest or whatever it is that everybody has.
Did you have to hire someone to kind of do the social media?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have a staff that does all of our digital and social media. And even our dining editor, whom you know, Becky Spear, she's so great. I mean, she will post whenever there's events. So we do use our social media and our presence online to support our print magazine and vice versa. And that's a great marriage because we found that print drives people to the web. So that you can't just put up a web or do digital advertising and not have any way to drive people to it. So oftentimes people will read a magazine, they'll see something they like, see a picture of food they like, and they'll go, "Oh, let's Google that restaurant," and then they'll go from there. So it's a partnership. It's always a partnership.
Do you find that more people are looking at you online who are not on Maui? Are you being watched more by the audience that's outside that comes and visits kind of regularly once a year or so? Is that kind of your audience too?
I wish I had more information for you on that, but I think that's true. I think our online audience is much broader and probably younger. So our online audience is often different than our, say, in-room readership or our subscribers. We have subscribers as well, and we have newsstand distribution as well.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, so our newsstand distribution is throughout the country.
Wow. So I didn't know that. How'd you do that? That's a biggie.
Oh, we've been national for, I'd say, 20 out of the 23 years at least.
Fantastic.
So we have a very broad-based audience, and we get to people before they come to Maui through our newsstand distribution and through our subscribers who are very faithful to Maui. Mm-hmm. So it's all about the people who love Maui, and that's why they get Maui no Kaoi magazine, and it all works, brings them back. So it's kind of having a romance with our readers, whether they're on island or whether they're at home on the mainland.
I never cease to be amazed at how much homework people do before they take a trip. And I don't know, I'm guessing millennials, but I think it goes a wide variety. But whenever I go to the mainland and I'm looking at people, in the waiting room or watching them, so many of them have done their homework and are already talking about things they're planning to do.
Right.
A lot of them have it all lined up before they even get
here. And I think that the magazine, Maui no Kaoi magazine, and our website plays a big part in that because all of our stories are archived. So if you were interested in, hey, I want to visit a fish pond, or I want to see what a heiau is, or I hear that there's a great coconut stand someplace out in Hana, you can go to our website and look that up, and those stories will come up. And we do have pretty engaged following on the website.
It is interesting to me because I also feel that we have a more sophisticated group of people that come that don't want to just stay at the hotel and leave.
I would say most of them don't. I
they
think
want to try something new. They want to, like you said, an authentic experience.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of the allure of Maui is not just staying in one place, but being able to see beautiful sights and learn something about the culture and have an experience. So
and take a good picture for Instagram.
Yeah, take a good picture for Instagram. But I think that experience is and that connection is what keeps bringing people back to Maui, and that's sort of what we do. We tell those stories.
Well, I know we just got through at the film festival, and you've been a part of it. And it's always interesting to see. This is the 20th year, and you've been around 23 years, so you've been a part of it.
Yeah, I remember when Barry and I were both, sort of pitching our new babies at the same time.
Yeah, And it's beautiful to see this year was really well. You've always been involved in sponsoring.
Yes, we love the film festival and the Kapalua Wine and Food Festival and everything that's good for Maui.
So let's talk about food. You have, I think it must reflect part of you. You must have a real passion for food, don't you? Because
I guess I do. I would have to admit that I do. I like to cook, and
you're a foodie.
I don't know if I'm so much a foodie as I am just I enjoy it, and I enjoy feeding people. I enjoy experiencing the creativity of chefs who do such a beautiful job with food. I like the friendship and the camaraderie and the love that comes from sharing a wonderful meal together. I like it all. Yes, I am that person.
Well, you know almost every single chef. I mean, I think you know almost every single chef on the island. And when did you begin the Ipono Awards?
I think we're in our 18th year.
Wow. So pretty much in the beginning you began that.
Yeah, we were probably about 5 years old when we started the Ipono Awards.
Mm-hmm. And it started a lot smaller than it is now.
It started a lot smaller, and it started because there were no awards for our Maui chefs and wonderful Maui restaurants. Yeah. And we thought, wow, that's not right. So, Honolulu had the Hawaiʻi Awards, and every once in a while a Maui restaurant would win something, and we felt just not right the way it was being done. So, I mean, I'm sure they do a wonderful job, but not for our island. And at the same time, the UH Culinary was called UH, was the Culinary Academy at the time. Now it's called UH Culinary Program, but they were doing a fabulous job.
Yeah.
And they were just building their new Paina building, where they have the kitchens and the beautiful Class Act restaurant. So we wanted our industry to see the school and see what was happening over there. And we wanted the kids at the school to get an exposure to the people in the industry, so that when they graduated and they went out to get a job, they could say, oh, I met you at the Ipono Awards. I was serving that great pot sticker that you loved, or something like that. And they can make those connections. And
in fact, was it held there in the first?
Yeah. So the first year we held it at the school, and we held it at the school for quite a while. It was kind of a grassroots event that grew, and our first ones were there, and we had the wine tasting and the poo-poos upstairs at the Class Act.
Right.
We opened all the kitchens up so the chefs and the executives and the GMs could meet the kids and just understand what the school was doing too, because it was important for us that the community understood what a great job UH was doing with the students. So that was great. And then downstairs, we did our sit-down dinner and our award ceremony. So we had to turn the cafeteria into a ballroom, basically. So that was fun.
Well, think of how it's grown, and my gosh, over the years, how even our whole dining industry has grown, and how the chefs and what's happened, and how many more restaurants.
There are such rock stars on our island. I mean, we have some of the best chefs in the world here.
I agree.
And we're really proud of that.
Yeah.
And so
it is hard because the hotels do have a tendency to kind of share chefs over. It's sometimes one chef is there one year and one next year another hotel, and sometimes we do see transitions going on.
Yeah, we do, but I think that's great. It's growth.
Yeah.
I mean, change is inevitable. So I think what happens is that a lot of those great chefs now are coming from the school, and they get into the hotel. One of the great hotels, and they learn so much, and they become even bigger stars.
And sometimes they open their own restaurant.
Sometimes they open their own. Sometimes they go on to be international stars.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a great success story. It's lovely.
So who were the stars of the Ipono Awards this year?
Oh, wow. We had a lot of stars. The Chef of the Year is actually someone who used to teach at the school, which is...
a lot of great chefs have taught
us. Yes. I don't want to get it. He has the streetery.
I'll let you.
I don't want to get that wrong.
Oh, the streetery.
Yeah, the truck.
Oh, really?
Yes, Kyle.
Wow.
And
he has his own food truck?
He has his own food food truck. I think it's called Maui Streetery. Kyle Kawakami. He was he might have even been a student there at one time. I don't remember, but I know he did teach there, and then he branched off and has his own food truck, and he was voted Chef of the Year. And the wonderful thing about Chef of the Year is that we don't have anything to do with it. It's voted on by other chefs. So it's actually his peers that voted him.
That's a great honor then.
Yes, yeah. And he's a great guy. I think one of the criteria for our Chef of the Year is not only that they're great chefs, but they make a difference in our community. And Kyle makes a huge difference. He's got a big heart, and he's so generous. He has this kind of a tip jar on his truck, and I think we raised more than $50,000 for the community last year. Yeah, so he's an incredible human being.
So the food truck trend really did change the whole dining scene and the food scene on Maui, didn't it?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
It used to be just, one or two, and now there's, someone told me there's something like 43 or 50 different trucks on the island.
Wow, that many. I wasn't aware there were that many.
I think there are, but
And then there's people like Sheldon Simeon.
And Sheldon Simeon, yes.
Who's gone the route, right? From being a rock star on TV, right, to being world famous, to building, working with other, entrepreneurs, to opening his own restaurants. And I mean, definitely out there working hard every day, as chefs do. I mean, there's so much work to being a chef, right?
There is an incredible amount of work. And his new restaurant, Lineage, won Best New Restaurant.
Did it? Oh,
along with, I think they may have won more awards than anybody else.
Wow.
I think I might be able to bring that up. But
I mean, he and his wife and the kids, I mean, it's a family that he's so dedicated to and still working so hard.
He has an adorable family.
Yes, he does. He really does.
Yeah, so Lineage won Best New Restaurant, Most Innovative Menu, Best Cocktail, Best Spicy Night Out, Best Vibe, and Best Service.
That's huge.
Right. Yeah, It was huge.
Wow. I'm impressed.
We give a gold and silver in each of those categories, and they got 4 golds and 2 silvers. They mopped it up.
No, I have to know, because, I mean, I've done through music, some of the awards ceremonies and the things, but, I mean, it does mean something. I mean, these people work so hard.
It means
And what's the feedback you get from these awards?
Oh, I think they take them very seriously because they are reader generated. They're people vote, and the votes are what they are. So it's their fans that are voting for them. So whether they're winning gold or silver or an honorable mention, it's the love of their fans that bring those votes in, and they're sharing that aloha and saying, we love this restaurant. We think it's the best seafood, or we think it has the best dessert or the best service, or it's our favorite place to go. So it's people who like to dine sharing their aloha and saying, rah, 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 you're doing a great job. We love you.
And it is when you do something like this and talking about online and you're what you have, people can go and see, some restaurants they may not know if they're visiting, and check out the list of restaurants and have a chance to discover restaurants they might not have ever known about.
Oh, yeah. We have probably, 50 winners in here. I mean, lots of beautiful, wonderful restaurants. Other big winners were Monkey Pod. They won,
I don't know how he keeps doing it. He's amazing. Peter Merriman is just mind-blowing.
He is mind-blowing, and he is going to be our Lifetime Achievement Ipona Award winner next year.
You can say that now.
We can say that now.
Well, good.
And we actually even have a date. We know that it's going to be April 3rd. It's going to be at the Ritz in Kapalua, through the kindness of the Ritz Kapalua and those folks there. So we're very excited and happy about that. That's the only thing I can tell you about it, though, is the date and who our Lifetime Achievement Award winner is.
Well, he's well deserving of it. I mean, I used to do a show, a TV show with him. And I did that show out there at Hula Grill when he was running Hula Grill. Gosh, that had to be 25 years ago.
Oh, probably.
I did a At the Grill show right there on the lawn. And I wish I'd kept it going. We did about 8 shows, and he wanted to take it to Oahu and get sponsorship. And it was just, doing other stuff with the radio, I couldn't go there and do that.
Yeah, I don't blame
But
you.
I got to know how amazingly talented and nice and genuine and how caring, he really was. And that was before he opened all the other restaurants.
He's another really generous person.
Yes, absolutely.
And our other big winners were Japango, that won Restaurant of the Year. Millhouse won a lot of awards. The list goes on and on. So pick up Maui no Kaoi and check it out. It's got all our award winners in it.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Cindy.
I love talking to you, too, Nancy.
You're so good. Thank you so much.
Diane.